Biodiversity is all the different kinds of life in one area. Plants, animals, and microorganisms all work together to make up our natural worlds. Each of these species and organisms work together in an ecosystem like an intricate web to maintain balance and support life. Biodiversity supports everything in nature that we need to survive: food, clean water, medicines, and shelter. With that being said, let us move on to our topic today, which is about plants.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
The first plant is Dipterocarpus grandiferus. Its specific name comes from its special whitish and yellowish large flower. For Malaysian, we call them Kerwin belimbing due to its calyx tube that resemble the shape of a star fruit. This emergent tree can grow up to 45 meter tall and 1.5 meter diameter in tropical forests like Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. As this tree comes from Demo group trees, it also produces resin. The leaves are thick, glabrous, hairless, and needle-like in texture. How do we recognize this tree? It is easy. Simply take a look at the dark purple young leaves and twigs with the purple-pink stipules. In Malaysia, Dipterocarpus species timber is Kerwin. The timber is sold under the name Apitong and Panang in Philippines, Gurjan in Burma, India, and England. Kerwin is harvested for commercial purposes such as to produce furniture, ship planking, and poles for its medium hardwood characteristic. Wait, allow me to go way back before the establishment of Malacca. Do you guys know that timber is one of the major resources harvested by the Aborigines in Peninsular Malaysia to use them as a varnish, torches, and coal? Nowadays, it is used by the Malay and Chinese for medicinal purpose and local trade. Tree not only provides resources for humans and animals, but it also helps reduce the soil erosion that occurs in the forest and improve soil condition, as its high rate of litter deposition produces abundant decomposed organic matter which provide nutrients to the soil. However, land acquisition for agriculture and timber harvesting lead to global conservation status of Kerwin belimbing assessed as endangered in the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of the Threatened Species (IUCN).
Next is Helminthosteches zelanica, or commonly known as tunjuk bumi by the locals in Malaysia. This fern is a member of the family of Ophioglossacea and the only extant species in the genus Helminthosteches. This species is a flowering terrestrial fern with short creeping rhizome that can reach up to 7 mm in diameter, bearing either a solitary frond or several fronds in each year. It is an unbranched plant laterally and ventrally bearing fleshy roots. It has lanceolate leaves with the entire or irregularly serrate margins and acuminate apex. From sea level to 400 meter height, this herbaceous fern can be found growing on moist ground along riverbanks or on humus-rich slopes in mild shade. Australia, India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Taiwan, New Guinea, and Indonesia are frequent locations to find it. Now, we cannot put aside that tunjuk bumi also has its own medicinal value. In Malaysia, the leaves will be dried and smoked to treat nose bleeding. But in our neighboring country, the Philippines also use them to relieve fever symptoms and inflammatory disease. In the modern era, a study proved that Helminthosteches zelanica has a promising pharmacological effect on high-fat diet-induced obesity, hepatic steatosis, and insulin resistance, which may have the potential for clinical application. For the environment, This plant truly helps in providing microhabitat, shelter, and shade for small animals. As the humans use this plant for medicinal purposes, the animals also use them as a source of food or medicine. Sadly, this valuable fern is considered as an endangered species due to excessive harvest done to fulfill the herbal industry's requirement.
You guys might have seen these so-called Lepiscence alata plants before. This third tree is called as Purpo, Rambai Istana, and so many others as it is different according to the place you live in. The Purpo, or Lepiscence alata as it is named scientifically, is a medium-sized shaded tree that can reach a height of 10 meters. Originating in Southeast Asia, this species is frequently utilized as decorative plants in landscape gardens. However, its natural habitat is 1,000 meters from the sea level in the high hill region of Borneo. In Peninsula, Malaysia, Java, Borneo, and Philippines, Purpo is readily available. The Terengganu cherry or Pokok Johor are other names for Purpo. This tree is referred to as Belimbing Cina in Java. When its young, pale purple leaves or branches and purple blossoms, Purpo is a really lovely tree. Purpo's mature leaves have 8 to 12 leaflets that are green. They are inflorescence that can reach a length of 55 centimeters. Due to its uncommon cultivation, Purpo might be regarded as a rare fruit tree. Flowers and fruits can appear at any time of the year and have no set season. The fruit is a globose berry that is 2 to 3 centimeters in diameter, deep red, lustrous, and has a pointed tip. It is packed densely and attractively in a large bunch that are created by clusters containing around 20 fruits per cluster. With 1 of 3 seeds per fruit, the fruit's flesh has a sweet yet somewhat acidic flavor. Even though the Purpo tree produces edible fruits that are also sold, it is mostly planted for ornamental purposes. From a consumer's view, birds consume the fruits of Purpo. Thus, it can be planted to entice them to visit our gardens. But this plant that has a high survival rate can also be used to combat the climate change crisis simply by providing food sources for animals in the forest. Lepiscence alata is a member of Sapidenseae family. However, no assessments of its conservation status has been made due to the lack of data and research done for this plant.
This one, I bet you guys never heard of it before. This plant is scientifically called Pandanus tectorius. As Malaysians, we only call them as mengkuang laut. The Pandanus tectorius species is indigenous to Malaysia, Papua, Eastern Australia, and the Pacific Islands. It often grows on coastal lowlands close to the water's edge. Dutch screw pine, Tahitian screw pine, hala tree, pandanus, and pihala are some of its common names in English. The fruit, often referred to as hala fruit, is edible. So, how about its structure? Pandanus tectorius is a tiny tree that grows straight and can develop to a height of 4 to 14 meters. The single trunk is thin and has bark that is ringed in brown. It forks at a height of 4 to 8 meters, is spiny, and develops to a breadth of 4.5 to 11 meters. Aerial roots, which firmly anchor the tree to the ground, provide support for the structure. At right angles, relative to the trunk, roots can occasionally grow along the branch. You can find this tree in coastal regions that are 610 meters above sea level, such as on mangrove margins and beaches. The aerial roots can withstand the strong wind and give support for the sand structure along the beaches to prevent it from erosion. When this tree is located in mangrove, it helps in providing habitat for small animals, and it also prevents the increase of ocean surface. As a matter of fact, mengkuang laut is now facing a huge problem as it was turned into an endangered species by the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species (IUCN) due to the dramatic change in ocean temperature and was cut down for development purposes.
We have come to our last tree. So what do we know about this lovely tree? In Malaysia, we call it bunga langkawi, or scientifically known as Legistromia langkawiensis. Amazingly, we can only find them in Malaysia, which is endemic to Langkawi Island because of the tropical climate zone. This tree varies from small to medium-sized tree and can grow up to 10 until 20 meter tall. We can also identify this tree from its simple leaf that's 6 until 18 cm long, lanceolate to oblong in shape. The petiole is 3 until 5 mm long and is glabrous on both surfaces. The vibrant pink color from its flower had caught many eyes. And now, we move on to the function of this plant. This plant is believed by the locals to have a medicinal value for various ailments such as fever, colds, and stomach problems. According to a review article published in the International Journal of Life Science and Review, extracts of Legistromia speciosa, a species of the same genus, have anti-diabetic, hypoglycemic, and antioxidant properties. For sure, it provides habitat and food so many species of animal and insects. In this era, bunga langkawi is experiencing extinction and listed as endangered species by the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species (IUCN). This is all caused by deforestation to make way for urbanization.
Nowadays, development has forced us to take down our forests by huge scale. So what can we do to protect endangered plants from extinction? So this can be tackled down by two forms, which is by the government and by our community. From the government stand, they can conduct education and awareness campaign. Other than that, conservation efforts can be made, such as Taman Negara Loyal Belum. For community, what we can do, we can participate in volunteer programs such as KSMP Volunteer Day. Other than that, what we can do the plant nursery, like the Lakeside Garden Center. At last, do the conducting campaign for donation.
By the end of the day, we can conclude that human greed has harmed nature for centuries, even though we all know that trees work as the lungs of the earth. So, I want you all to decide, what do you want for our future? Either bleak and detrimental air, or we decided to harmonize our life with nature.